Today, I have the pleasure and opportunity to speak with Carla Bisong, and she's got this awesome art gallery. So, how you doing today, Carla?
I'm great, Warren. Thanks for having me on.
So, I love your background. You are obviously in your gallery. Um,
Yes.
how'd you get into this business?
Honestly, my passion and my love for art, I did not go to art school. I didn't study in a museum or anything like that. My background is actually finance. So I was in the financial world for years. But then as I was getting older and getting closer to 30, I think that's a milestone. Many people take a moment and say, is this what I want to continue to do with the rest of my life? And I just thought, like, I need to get involved in art, but I'm not talented enough to be an artist. And what do I love? I love people, I love business. And when I found out what an art dealer does, that's basically, connecting artists with people who appreciate art and want to acquire it. And then I felt like, well, I can do that. And that was the first go at thinking that that's something I want to learn more about and I want to dive into. And normal people would probably work at a gallery before starting their own. I just
Right?
I just kept my day job and got a gallery space and found some amazing artists, had amazing artist friends, and say, you know what, a couple of weekends, let's just have some openings and see what happens. And that was literally the start of my art gallery journey 11 years ago.
That's amazing. So, at the ripe old age of 30, you're like, hey, my life is just rolling away, before my eyes. Like I gotta do what I want to do here. I'm gonna run out of
Right.
time at 30. That's
True.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was the biggest kind of mental hurdle to get over or to make you take that jump? Or was it your parents saying, are you nuts? Or what was it? What was it? Tell me about that.
Yeah. At first, it was completely labor of love. And so it's always easy to do something that you really love. But to make the decision to leave the financial world and do this as a business, as full time, and just go for it. It took a couple of years. I'm not going to say I woke up one day and just decided that this is what I'm going to do now. I'm very conservative with I don't like losing sleep, I don't like stress. And so I just kept slowly building it and I maintained the gallery in a full-time job for years before deciding to just go ahead and go with it. And the results was the decision maker. Like, people are really listening to my suggestions. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm talking to artists, I'm talking to other gallery owners, I'm traveling, I'm going to art fairs, I'm talking to different galleries all around the world. And then I realized, yeah, this is something that's happening. It's I'm seeing it happen. And so that gradually helped me to make the decision.
So that's amazing. So I have to ask the question because
Yeah.
imposter syndrome. Did you ever
Of
feel
course.
like, oh my gosh, I'm faking it? Talk to me about that and how you got
Yeah. I had it not with my ability to do what I need to do to place beautiful art with people who love art and want to acquire art. That wasn't the problem. I feel a little bit of I didn't have that background from going to school and majoring in art or studying museum studies or getting a master's in fine arts. So I'm learning as an outsider, but I'm still learning and I know my ability. And when I'm passionate about something, I want to ask a lot of questions. I want to know a lot. So I just felt if I'm around other art dealers that just have been doing this for 50 years or so, that I felt I wasn't at their level, but I definitely always had the confidence that I did a great job with my clients.
I love it. So you made it about your clients, not about you.
Right, right.
Isn't that great? And I'm just gonna just venture a guess here. I'm guessing Picasso, many of the artists that were back in the old days. I don't think they got a whole bunch of training either, did they?
Many times, and depending on what period you're speaking of, many people had sponsors. You have somebody that believed in you
Mm.
and sponsored your lifestyle, and you were able to create. Van Gogh, had loved ones that supported his efforts, and the old world masters, Michelangelo. They had people who paid them to create and just focus on creating and bringing beautiful work of art. So I do feel that many people are always going to have, especially if you're truly passionate about what you do, you're always going to wonder if I could do better or if I'm doing good enough. It's sometimes it's the people who aren't the best that have the overinflated egos. So I tell artists, if you're worried about not being good enough, then that's a great place to be, because some people who feel like you can't tell them anything, they know everything. Yeah, sometimes their work says differently.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so if you think you know it all, then you clearly don't, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me about like what's your vision for your gallery and your artists, and what's your vision? What do you want this to look like? It's finished.
Great question. I went back and forth, and at one time I thought I want to have multiple galleries just all over the world, and
Oh,
just have a presence in each different country, and really taking in and cultivating that culture and a lot of the art and everything. And I still go back and forth. And then a part of me here in Houston, we have the Menil collection, which I absolutely love, that they have this great building and they bring art from all over the world and have it in one location. And then I thought, well, I want to do that. And I just want to have this massive, structure that I support our local community, but then bring art from all over the world and have it be world renowned, of a collection of art, a portion of it open for purchasing art, and another portion just encouraging the youth to come in and admire the collection. So I will honestly say that's a lot of words to say. I go back and forth with my thoughts. As of today, I'm leaning toward, I would love to have the one structure and bring art from all over the world into one place, and I can stay put. Of course, always travel, but my home base is home. But in 5, 10 more years, I may change my mind and say, no, no, no. I want to be Larry Gagargason, and I want to have 25 galleries all over the world. So we'll see what happens.
yeah, we'll see where it goes. It's okay, and it's okay to change your vision or your destination over time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you look for when you're looking for employees? Because let's
Mhm.
face it, you're not just the only person working there. So how do you look for a good employee?
Yeah, and one thing I call them team members.
Good.
Technically, I employ them, so technically, yes, they are employees. But I just we call each other team members. I'm their team member. They're my team member, because we're working together as a team and a common goal. So ultimately, they had a passion for art before they even met me, and that's one thing. It's not I need a job, I need to make money, which we all do. We have bills to pay. I'm not independently wealthy. I didn't come from money. So yes, we do have to earn our money, but you can earn a living doing anything. So first and foremost, do you absolutely love the art world, the art community? Are you a creative in yourself? So that's something I can't train. That's just who you are. So that's first and foremost. Number two, a great positive attitude, ready to learn. Hey, have a heart of service. So when we're
Mm.
speaking to people, I tell my team, we really, really want to help people. But at the end of the day, I've given each of them permission. If someone is belittling or disrespectful, you have my complete permission to professionally tell them to get out. I don't tolerate, I don't care what you want to purchase. And the artists I work with know that as well too. I would not
Mm.
have them, many of them custom create, and I would not push them to work with a client to custom create artwork and they're being disrespected. So I will tell them it's completely okay with me if we walk away from a project if it's not serving us. But all in all, 98% of people in this industry and team members and artists I've worked with have always been amazing. It's just the 2% that you get from here or there.
Yes, I do love that because there are people that say the customer is always right, and I completely disagree. The customer, should be heard,
Yeah.
but we should support our team, which I love
Yes.
to use the word team. And then the customer is a means to get there, and they can be part of our team too. But disrespect, oh, life's too short.
Right. Right.
Why
It's
freedom of a customer? Go to some other place where you want to be. And I think that really builds respect with your team. And they know that you respect them more than you care about money. Like that's putting your actions where your words are, right?
Oh, Oh, definitely. And I have team members that have been with me for years. So I think that they know that I'm coming from a great place too when I'm looking at the betterment of all of us, including the business.
Yes, that's wonderful. All right. So what's one of your biggest challenges that you faced or are facing?
Mother Nature. Mother
Oh, I get that
Nature.
answer all the time. Mother Nature. No, I've never
Mother
heard that
Nature.
answer before, honestly. So talk to me about that.
I I even enjoy the growing pains of making mistakes in business and learning from it and being a better worker, being a better employer, or being a better um, person of service. But we're in Houston, and I mean, we flooded in Harvey 2017. Of course, all of us experienced the global pandemic. Not long after that, we had citywide floods and freezing that people were out of power and purse uh, pipes bursting all over their houses. So
Yeah.
it's difficult because, and of course Harvey, the gallery flooded, but we were back to where operational within 2 months. But then it's a psychological effect of how do we market and how do we reach out to customers doing our
Uh,
everyday, hey, we have this new work of art here, will you want to buy it? And then just taking a gauge of the temperature of the city, wanting to be respectful of that. But then on the same time, we have artists that need to sell because they're going through hard times and they need to sell their work that's going to help them. And so we can't twiddle our thumbs. We have to make some things happen. And so that is something in business school they don't teach you. And that's why I really love to learn. I'm glad I studied marketing, I studied business, I studied finance, but
mm,
actually sitting and talking to people who have run a business for 20 plus years is it's just certain things they're going to tell you that you're not going to learn in a textbook, and an academic professor is not going to teach you. Okay, when you finish going through a global pandemic, this is what you do. You, you're not going to get that from school.
that's for sure. And the weather is not something that comes up in most school subjects, unless of course, meteorology perhaps. But
Exactly. We learn case studies and we look at, up and downturn of markets, and we learn many are going through recessions and businesses either falling to the wayside or making it or starting. But I have never really studied global disasters and how that really truly impacts businesses and people.
so that's great. Great insight. So what do you do now to prepare yourself for the next whatever that is? Hopefully it's a long time away.
Hopefully, yes, hopefully. All in all, keep overhead as minimal as possible. Um, Depending on different businesses, I think that they feel scale is the way to go, and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm old enough that I saw 2011 when 9/11 happened. I was young, but I saw the impacts of that, and I've always been very curious, so I asked a lot of questions, and saw the 2008 housing bubble burst and everything like that. So um, I pretty much put it in my head every 10 years. It's pretty much expected. You're going to go through some challenges that are just out of your control. I feel like okay, 2001, 2008, when I start to plot it out, it's like, yeah, every 10 years you're going to face something. Um
Mm.
and that's my plan. My plan is try not to be too top heavy. Um when times are lean and difficult times, I feel great that my gallery is in a historic warehouse district area. The rent is a commercial rent, but it's not anything just ridiculously crazy. As
Mm.
opposed to if I, had a gallery in River Oaks or something like that. So that's
Sure.
very, very helpful. My team members just always want to check in with them, make sure they're taken care of, make sure they're doing good. But no, not to say that it's easy and rainbows and sunshine, but for the most part, even during hard times, it hasn't been extremely difficult to still skim by and knowing better days are going to come. But when it's lean, we're able to make it.
That's great. Yeah, keeping lean. It
Yeah,
seems like such an easy thing to do, but when times are good and you're
I
rolling
know.
money, it can get a little loose, right? And you feel like it's always going to come until it doesn't one day.
Yes. Yes, yes. And that's the point of sales. I think you just also realize you can have 2, 3 months of amazing sales, and you can have 2 months of like, "Oh my goodness, where is everybody at?" It
That's
happens.
great. All right, so when you think about art galleries, I don't think the first thing that comes to mind is sales.
Yeah.
Um, so talk to me about that. How's that work, and how do you position yourselves differently from your
And
competition?
that's a good point because I do feel more like a teacher than I do a saleswoman. Um, Anything I learned about sales is kind of find the pain point and this is what you need to do to make a sale, but those are products or services. I'm just explaining what an artist created and the buyer comes to me and then I just answer those questions. I cannot go in somebody's brain to say you are having this connection with this art. You know what I mean? They're having it. I'm literally really speaking with the artist, getting to know the artist, learning their process, what vision are they wanting to put out. Hopefully I'm repeating it correctly and communicating on their behalf, and then the correct bot and the correct person that the art belongs to, they're going to show up. And so yes, I have to say sales and I have to say it's still a business because it does take money to make sure everything keeps running. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, I'm really just making connections. So either call me a teacher or a connector. That's how I look at myself.
Yeah, that's great. You're connecting the artist and the creator and the art with somebody that feels a connection to it, right?
Right.
That's amazing. And then I'm sure the part of it is this is at least from what you're saying is the story behind the art, what their intent, the artist's intent was, what their vision was, and then how that matches with the interpretation of the buyer. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. And sometimes the buyer will ask more questions what the artist was thinking, but sometimes a buyer could look at a piece, they took their own interpretation, they tell me what they see, and that may not be exactly what the artist told me what they were creating, and I allow them to have that moment. I'm never going to tell someone, "No, you're absolutely wrong." That is not it by any means stretch of the word. I'll listen and I say that is very interesting that you have been brought to that thought process. Tell me more. And I love to just listen because
Yeah.
there has been times someone says this is what I see in this work of art that I didn't see it, but once they told me they saw it, I'll tell them I see how you can see that. I still may not agree, but I can still say I see how you
Yeah.
see that.
Well, it really is. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? It's so true. And because I'll, no, you don't have to admit to this, but I'll bet there's pieces of art in your gallery that you're like, not for me, but for the right person, definitely for them, right?
Yeah, and that's there's multiple types of art. There's beautiful art that people want for just the aesthetic of it. Either it matches
Mm.
their couch or it matches what they're decorating their home with, and it's just beautiful, and that just fits for them. And then there's art that has a message. A great example. So Oprah has a piece in her house of a slave market, and the meaning to her behind it is look how far as a people we have come from when this time period happened to, I mean, look at Oprah, you know, the day and age, and she can be who
Yeah.
she is because of the amazing country we live in, the opportunities that she had. So that is a major, you know, symbol of improvement and a major symbol of just what people have been through and where we are today. And for her, that's empowering. Me personally, I could not have a piece of work of art of a slave market in my home. It would not evoke empowerment to me. I just would personally feel um, just very sad, you know, about
Yeah.
it. And so there's
Yeah.
no wrong or right way, you know, to take it. And I 100% get what she's saying about that work. Again, it's just not for me.
Yeah. No, it's a great example. Yeah. Wow. And clearly Oprah is somebody that has overcome a lot and done absolutely amazing things, you know. Yeah. And the country helps, but she did, she did it. right?
Yeah.
She definitely did it. So that's great. Okay, so who are your people that you look up to, model yourself after, to kind of come up with who you are as a person and how you manage how you run your team and run your business? Is anybody that comes to mind?
Oh, good question. Multiple people depending on what the topic is. So, like I said, there may be a gallery owner, Larry Gagargason, just for where he started selling posters all the way to having
Hmm.
galleries all over the world. So, him specifically in my industry, he's the top person doing amazing things in that aspect. But there may be another person who has a smaller business, but her integrity level with a cupcake shop, and everybody says,
Hmm.
oh no, we have to go to her because we go and she's the neighborhood grandma of the community. So you go in and you feel the love in her cupcakes, but the way she makes us feel when we go in there. And so I look to her because of the empathy and the love she may have with her clients, but she doesn't have a multi-million dollar business. It's something else that she's bringing to the community. So I take pieces from multiple people, and I love reading articles. I love reading stories about people coming from minimal beginnings to building these amazing businesses or organizations or nonprofits, and I can take a little bit from a lot of people.
That's smart. Always learning, right? Always learning. Do you have any mentors yourself that you go to regularly, or do you mentor anybody? Because you obviously have a
Yeah.
successful business.
I am a part of the Houston Art Gallery Association. So,
Okay.
yes, we do have members, art galleries in the association who have been around 20, 30 plus years. And so, yeah, I go to them and just situations come up. Something maybe um, case by case basis. I may have an exhibition coming up that the artist, my first one was out of the country and going through import exports and getting the art from another country into Houston and having to say, okay, this is stuck in customs. The art exhibition is starting in a week. We don't have the art. What do I do?
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, it's good to have that list of people that I can call up and I'm like, I'm freaking out. What do I do? And that's just one example. But yes, I definitely lean on people and anyone just similar to me that has a spirit that wants to help, they want to give back, they want to, provide their expertise. Same with me, not in maybe the gallery world, but other businesses. I've had people come to me, maybe have challenges with team members and say, okay, honestly, I really need to let this person go. Um, I'm a kind-hearted person. I don't know how to tell them. I cried at night thinking about what that conversation is gonna be like to tell them it's not working out. And then we just talk through it and we just have, those conversations that I've unfortunately had to go through that within 11 years of business. You're going to go through team members leaving, and it's tough. It's really tough because they say, oh, it's not personal, it's just business. Well, I don't know about you, but business is personal for me because
Yes.
it's we're in a people business.
Yes. And yet you still have to make those decisions for the
Yeah.
good of the rest of the team in some cases as well, right? That's just part of the deal, and
Right.
it's not fun.
Right. Right.
What's your biggest aha when you since you've gotten into this thing versus you're obviously doing very well in the world of finance, and now you're doing this sort of, well, quite different thing. What was your biggest aha takeaway learning that you've got?
More so trusted my intuition and my gut. And
Oh,
every time I didn't listen to my intuition and gut and said, well, maybe I'm just being too hard on this situation. This could do this. Or and my gut was like, no, either stay away from that person or don't try to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. Anytime I talk myself out of it, I regretted it. And so I think that's the biggest aha. If something and a woman's intuition is very strong, and I don't know why and maybe that's part of not coming from the art world, it's a good thing for me to have a throw the pasta against the wall, see what sticks. But then at the same time, you still can have a little bit more discernment. And that's just with years and years of experience. And so I don't know if it's an aha moment, but just experience after experience, finally having the confidence to say the moment something doesn't feel right, just go ahead and understand. Yeah, I'm gonna trust my gut. I don't need a lot more information. I'm just my intuition has been right many times and I need to trust it more often.
That's brilliant. I've had that with hiring employees. Sometimes it's you don't even know exactly what you don't trust about it, but
Right.
you still need to trust your intuition on that because your little spidey senses are picking up something that is just not quite right or insincere or not a fit or one of those things that
Right.
it's not going to work out. So trust your gut.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And I'm willing and I'm transparent about it. I'll tell you there. So when artwork sells, the way my business, others are different, but I take a commission on when art sells. I don't charge artists to sell their work in the gallery. It's on a commission
Cool.
base. When the artwork sells, the artists get paid, and I get a commission. And so because we have that understanding in the split, I've had buyers that I have to use my intuition in do they really connect with it and they really love it but they just can't afford the cost, and I have wiggle room because I know what my commission is and I can lower my commission that the artist still gets what they're going to get, but then I just take less because I really feel this person just truly loves the work and they want it and it's just a little bit above what they can afford. I have plenty of times done, and I'm probably hopefully I don't regret admitting this on your podcast and everybody's like, oh, Carla's gonna take a discount every single time. No, I won't. But when I feel it that it's truly sincere that they want it, I definitely have lowered my commission to make the acquisition go through. But I will say in times that something said, no, no, this person really just it's a negative energy. I kind of
Mm.
either feel like they don't appreciate the artwork enough or they're not saying it, but their energy is thinking, I'm just not gonna pay that or something like that, and I try to work with them, that's a lot of times I regret it, just not saying, I'm sorry that we couldn't make this happen, and I wish you the best. And in the future, we can revisit maybe another piece that might be right for you within the budget that you're looking for, but you're not going to get this piece for this ridiculous amount that you're saying. So yeah, I will say that's an aha moment of knowing when to just it's okay to not let a sell happen because it's just not meant to happen.
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes you got to know when to walk away and know when to run, I guess, right?
Yeah.
According to the gambler, which you probably don't recognize, but it's an old Kenny Rogers song.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
what else? What else? Any other pieces of wisdom for somebody that's considering jumping off? And you smartly took your time, and maybe that is the wisdom, and built up a business before you left your paying job. But any other advice, either yay or nay, or do or don't, anything else, any other wisdom from you as a person that's successfully done it?
Thank you. I agree. Keep if It's difficult because some people want to do a business that their day job is a conflict of interest for them to do their own business in that. So that if that's the case, then that's very tricky to keep your day job while go and do your own thing. So definitely always be ethical. But if, like me, completely separate, I was in the finance world, I worked in Goldman Sachs, I have an art gallery, no conflict of interest. So if anyone is fortunate enough to be in that position, yeah, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Your first year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years in business, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So it's good to have that a little bit of a safety net while you're figuring things out.
Yeah, smart. I think the people I've heard, and I would probably agree with this, owning my own business, is like it's going to take twice as long.
Yes.
You're going to take twice as much money to get where you're going to go. It's going to be twice
Yeah.
as hard, and there's nobody that is not going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes.
So true. And if at all possible. And everybody's different. I'm not in the tech world, so if you're in the tech industry, they may say something completely different. I'm not big on taking loans out to start a business. I mean, you really, really want to take a loan out. Maybe the business is there and you need a little help to make whatever it is you need to make or accomplish what you need to accomplish because the buyer is already there. Then that makes sense. Example, construction. Somebody already wants to build a house and then you're a
Mm,
builder. Okay, I'm going to take a loan because I need the materials to build a house, but the buyer is already there just waiting for me to get my stuff together. Then that may make some sense, but I have an idea. I'm just going to go and take out a loan and then use this to grow. So now you have the stress of figuring everything out and then people expecting their money back slowly but surely. And yeah, that can break up relationships.
That's stress. That's real stress, right?
Right, right.
So tell me last question. Tell me about your gallery. Why should I come? Why should people come? What should they expect?
Good. We have been in the community in the historic warehouse district of downtown 11 years. The artists we have are emerging and mid career artists,
Hmm.
passionate about their work. If you just have a love for art, art that tells a story, artists who are passionate about what they're doing, even if you're coming in just to learn. I honestly tell someone wanting to start an art collection, starting from ground zero, I encourage you to look at as much art as possible, read as many articles as you can, look at the artists' websites, come to galleries, come to the museums, and just spend maybe 3 to 6 months just developing your eye because you keep looking at work, you keep looking at work over and over again, then you're going to develop not only what you like, but also seeing the quality in different pieces and knowing, okay, I'm starting to get more of a familiarity about this specific artist that does abstract because some people think, example, abstract is just random art on a canvas and anybody can do it. But you
Hmm.
start looking at, let's say, 5,000 works of abstract art, you're going to start learning, oh, wow, there are certain colors, color theory. There's certain colors that go together a lot better than others. There's a lot of different techniques that are very consistent versus random and chaotic and stuff like that. You're going to develop your eye.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay. So come by, visit your place. It looks gorgeous. I can't wait to see it myself. And hey, oh, one other question I want to ask you. I feel like, and this is something that I'm a big believer in, and action coach too, is like a culture of abundance, and that's like helping people. There's enough for everybody. It's not a scarcity thing, and I feel like in the art business, I feel like I'm hearing a lot of that same. We're not in competition. We help each other. Is that correct?
I love it. I love it, especially all the gallery members of the Houston Art Gallery Association. We are a collective of individual member galleries that have different programs. But actually, this evening, it's Tuesday. We have a first Tuesday of every month, just coming together casually, just to share ideas, talk with one another, figure out ways of making the organization to grow even more and help each other. So, I love that I'm not showing anything that other galleries are showing. To my knowledge, I usually galleries don't have the same artists in their galleries, so there isn't competition because we don't have the same art. Um, and we have different programs, and so it's very and I feel the Houston art community feels that way too. We have an amazing community only because we're so large that we have Sugarland and Woodlands and Houston and all the different sectors of Houston art that we might not be on the map as we should, like San Francisco or New York or some of the other large art hubs that are smaller and put together, a little easier to get to. But
Mhm.
Houston, we're working on that. Houston definitely globally needs to be on the map for just a phenomenal art scene.
That's so cool. Okay, I'm so excited now. Thank you for that. Hey,
Good.
Carly, I really appreciated our time together. It was fabulous just getting to know you and hear your perspective. And I love your attitude around what you do and your passion for what you do.
Thank you. I could talk all day, so thank you for letting me know. Okay, as I wrap this up, because I will go on and on and on for hours. So yes, just go ahead and let me know we're done.
I love it. I have to come see you soon.
Good. Okay. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.